Hi, Amiyah. This is your reading buddy, Bob. I'm back this week to read 2 more Level F stories with you. I hope you and your family are healthy and safe. You can follow along with the pictures, and I will try and make my cursor go through the words so you can read along with me. This story is called Will You Play With Me? Written by Anne Harth. She writes a lot of these stories. Looks like 2 girls playing out in the field near some water. It's kind of hard to play these days when everybody has to stay at home. But maybe there will be someday soon when we can play again together. Francie saw a squirrel. She crept closer and closer. Will you play with me? She whispered. There's Francine. Maybe she's found a way to play even in social isolation. Do you think the squirrel will play with her? The squirrel scrambled up a tree. I guess he won't play. He is afraid of her, maybe. Francie saw a frog. She crept closer and closer. Will you play with me? She whispered. What do you think? Will the frog play with her? It may be hard to play with a frog. The frog jumped into the pond. I guess he's afraid of her too. Who will play with Francie? Francie saw a bird. She crept closer and closer. Will you play with me? She whispered. Think the bird will play with her? The bird fluttered away. I guess not. The bird is afraid of her also. Francie sat very still. The squirrel was gone. The frog was gone. And the bird was gone. I think she's feeling sad and lonely. Who will play with Francie? Francie heard a noise. Someone was creeping closer and closer. What do you think is happening? That sounds like just what Francie did to all the animals when she wanted to play with them. But she heard someone doing the same thing. Who do you think it is? She turned around. It was a boy. Will you play with me? He whispered. Yes, Francie said. Finally, she found someone to play with. Here are the comprehension questions. Who did Francie first ask to play with her? Do you remember? Way back in the beginning, Francie saw a squirrel and asked, will you play with me? I think the answer to that question was the first one was a squirrel. Who asked Francie to play? You remember in the end? A boy. We didn't learn his name, but it was a boy who was creeping up to ask her if she would play. What did the frog do in the story? Do you remember? When she asked the frog to play, what did the frog do? He jumped into the pond. Frogs spend a lot of time in the water. Francie is a what? Do you know? I think she's a girl who is looking for someone to play with. That is the end of this story. I will record one more for you today. And then next week we will move on to level G stories. Hope you're getting these and that you are healthy and safe with your family. I will talk to you at the next story. Bye bye.